Hetepu, Assalamu alaikum, namaste, everyone nefer. This is Qesankh Kiparu with another broadcast for you today. In this broadcast, we're going to talk about what's in your future. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. If this is your first time to my channel, hit the subscribe bell to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. And if you'd like to know more about my spiritual teachings, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. There's never any obligation, and you can cancel anytime. You'll get exclusive access to instructional videos, videos on the esoteric, videos on the spiritual, videos that will teach you how to do meditations, how to properly breathe, how to build a magical amulet, how to contact the ancestors, how to do lucid dreaming or astral projection. So again, become a Patreon supporter. It's up to you. Again, no obligation. And this is Qesankh Keparu. So let's talk about this subject of today, Grand Rising. What's in your future? Now, I want to do a little bit of a different broadcast. And the reason being is because usually in the Kemetic spiritual tradition, when we work with what we call as oracles, we don't use oracles to predict the future. It's more so for spiritual guidance, all right? Now, there are a lot of fortune tellers out there or individuals out there who practice the tarot, and the tarot is strictly meant, well, not strictly meant, but it does provide you with some insight into the future. And it does give some type of guidance, but not so much as oracles like the Meduna or the I-ching, which exclusively focus on basically on the more of the spiritual elevation, I would say. How do you become God? And let me, because I was using this from the last broadcast, I'll put my phones on here, earphones, so I can hear properly. All right, good. So working with the Kemetic spiritual oracles, we don't necessarily get a glimpse into our future. It can provide that. We get more so about how do we handle what's coming along. So like the Meduna oracle will say, yeah, you may have some financial struggles, but here's how you handle that by being at peace. And then from that point of view, you know how to do a proper ritual to invoke Amen to be at peace. And with, let's say, for example, the tarot, you could get an indication of, oh, wow, you're going to have this really bad financial time coming up. And it leaves you at that. And there's no like spiritual instruction or let's say alchemical instruction on how to circumvent that, prevent it. There's only the prediction of here it comes, ready or not. This is why really good diviners, is what we call them, diviners, can use a combination of different divination tools. Some can use the Ifa, whereas some use the I-ching. Others will use a combination of the Ifa, I-ching, and the Meduna and the tarot, and also other exclusive oracles that are out there. There are so many out there, I can't name them all. But I just want to give you a gist into the understanding of how they work. And a lot of times people will come to me for a Meduna and an I-ching. And I-ching is the Chinese oracle, the Book of Changes, an I-ching reading, and they find that I'm giving them all this spiritual advice. And they were like, well, I just wanted to know if I was going to get pregnant soon, or I just wanted to know if I were going to find the right man. And I'm like, yes, you are, but there's so much more that the oracle wants to talk to you about. and prepare you for this. So I want you to keep that in mind. Now, how we're going to work this session here is going to be like this. Those of you who are watching, then this reading was meant for you. Of course, those who missed this broadcast and will never see it, it wasn't meant for them. But for those of you who are watching this broadcast, it's meant for you. So the advice that I pull out is going to be for you. And you can try and look into interpreting it and how it applies to your life. Now, sometimes, this happens often, where you might not see how it fits into your life during this broadcast. But if you think about it later on in the day, the week, the month, it may hit you and you go, oh, wait a minute, now I get it. Now I see what he was saying. So give it some time to ferment, because you'll start to then see the connections and things of that nature. So I'm going to first start out by using the great oracle of Tahuti, the Meduna Tear, and it will provide us more of a spiritual guidance. But the question I am going to be asking is, what's in store for your future, in your immediate future, so you can be prepared for that. All right, so let me get that ready. Are you guys ready now? All right, cool. So let's, I'm going to take out my keyboard here. All right, and then I'm going to bring out the Meduna Tear cards. And I'm going to start by shuffling them. Now, to really understand the Meduna Tear, you have to understand the Kemetic tree of life, because it ties directly into it. All right. So with the proper shuffling, the question I'm going to pose is, Netter, please comment on what is in their immediate future that they need to know about. And that's going to be the question. And again, this message is going to be tailored for you, the viewer, because you're watching this. And I'm going to pick the card. The first card I got is Nekabet 2, 2 Ma'at. Now, to give you some insight, Nekabet could typically is psychic forces, subliminal forces that can affect you adversely. Meaning, you ever have somebody, a friend, who's all over the place, they can't seem to focus. You talk to them, they don't seem to be present and here, listening to you. Well, that's what the ancient Kemetic people coined as Nekabet. A psychic subliminal force that comes at you. You don't even realize it. And it kind of distracts you or prevents you from really focusing on something. So let's go deeper into that to find out more about what the oracle has to say. So again, the first one is Nekabet. And our second card is going to be Heru. Now, there is a relationship between Nekabet and Heru. And students in Oracle class study that relationship. But Heru is the hawk, the falcon, who is the ruler, the king. And he's wearing the upper and lower crown of Egypt. King of Upper and Lower Egypt. He united the territories. Now, with Heru is your will, your ability to get things done, your ability to focus and make things happen. This is a very male energy type of card. When you combine that with your nekabet, and we talked about nekabet can being something that distracts you, you're not focused. And if you're not focused, your will is all over the place. You can't get things done. Although your will is there, because this is to Ma'at, meaning it's a very positive card. Although your will is there, you're distracted by the subliminal influences. Sometimes we see this with people with ADHD. They can't focus, they're all over the place. They have the drive, but they can't seem to stick with any one thing. So the oracle is saying here that when you receive a nekabet and a haru, you've got to look at what may be influencing you on a psychic subliminal level that is messing with your will and your determination to get the job done. Are you hanging with negative people? Are you in places that you shouldn't be? You know, going to raves or certain types of dingy bars and clubs. That's a great place to pick up a nekabet, to where you're distracted, because that energy will follow you and it will cause havoc with your ability to pay attention, to learn. And for someone who's in a rulership position, let's say someone who's middle management or a cop, you're going to find yourself not being able to disseminate good orders. You're going to find yourself giving out orders that aren't good and that could jeopardize lives or jeopardize people's welfare, because that nekabet is influencing you in a negative way. So when these two are at their positive, then your direction and how you go to achieve something could be very positive as well. But in general, when we see that nekabet come up in a reading, we have to be very, very careful and start taking an audit of who we're with, where we're at, what we're doing, and to make sure that these places or these elements are not affecting us adversely. So what's coming up in the near future is the oracle is telling you that it's going to be messing with your haru, your will, your ability to get things done, your ability to focus, your ability to complete a task or an assignment. Now let's take this deeper. That is the console of the Medunater. Now let's go look and see what the Rider-Waite tarot deck, or what, not the Rider-Waite tarot deck, but what the tarot has to tell us. Now we're getting more into the prediction. And again, if you're watching this broadcast, this is going to apply to you. This is all about synchronicity. How one thing aligns with the other. Let me move this keyboard. So we're going to go to source, ask source. What's in our immediate future that we need to be aware of? And I'm going to do 3 cards, which are traditionally beginning, middle, and end. First card we have Five of Swords. Second card is we have Page of Pentacles. And then the Three of Pentacles. Now, the fives are conflict. Whenever we see five, conflict. And the swords are intellectual endeavors. Let me see if this will be better. If I can turn this around, you can probably see it better. So at the very beginning, we're looking at a bit of kind of a strife conflict. But from that, we're looking at the materialization of something. And this could more than likely be money, because pentacles are in regards to money. And what I find also curious is that we have the Three of Pentacles here, which is kind of a cooperative venture, maybe you and friends to realize something material. Maybe you work on a business together, so we can see that the fruits of that work are, we see it kind of mushrooming here. So it's going to happen. We're going to start out with a little bit of conflict. Keep that in mind. We're going to go into, hey, this is going to materialize. There's an opportunity for resources, money here to come. And at the final, there's going to be, and this is with three is three people, could be partners. This is us working together and realizing the fruits of our labor. So that's what we're looking in terms of what's upcoming. And the challenge for you is to start thinking about, what is it that I'm working on? Am I doing a project on my own, or I'm doing it with friends? And are we having any difficulties, any challenges on the outset? Is this project going to come to fruition? Are we going to get any type of money or finance to help complete the project? And are we eventually going to come together to make the project work 100%? And there's a high likelihood of that happening with this Three of Pentacles. So give that some thought, because that is actually good news. And again, it goes back to what the Medunatar was saying, is working to realize a goal. The Haru, whenever you see a Haru card pop up, then that is the realization, that is the use of your will. And a lot of times, when we can't get things going, it could be an issue with the will. I counseled someone the other day, and I said, this is, my program is not for you, because you don't seem to be passionate about it. You're not getting up in the morning, getting ready for the session. There is an Haru issue with you. And it wasn't due to his nekabet. He had a whole different thing going on there. Like I said, it was just a lack of passion. So, but with this one card, this is specifically speaking of things like circumspection, the will, leadership. Are you a good leader? Do you disseminate good orders? Are you looking at things correctly? Your perspective. That's important. So give that some thought, because any project that you're working on, your vision for that project has to be right. And when you think about a hawk, when it flies down to get its prey, it has tunnel vision. It's going in there, and nothing is going to distract it. It's going to get that prey. And in a sense, to achieve your goal and where you want to go, you're going to have that type of myopic or narrow-minded tunnel vision. Because that nekabet, the oracle is saying, is going to distract you. It's going to have you wavering. You may feel yourself getting overly worried, afraid to take risk. things of that nature. But you have to keep the focus. Swooping down there to get the prey, to make it happen. And then we've already seen by what the tarot is telling us, there's an opportunity here for some money if you are focused, not distracted. This is why when you're doing a business, you're going to have to separate yourself from certain friends who are not conducive to the business, who are not conducive to making your dream a realization. You feel me? You're going to have to step back from them because they may want to go out and party on a Saturday night, and you may need to get on an Excel spreadsheet and start doing cash flow projections for the business. You can't bother being distracted by partying on a Saturday night. You have work to do. That's Haru. And furthermore, taking it to the next level, you have to demonstrate and show by example that you're a leader, which is what a Haru is. And that leader has to tell them, we can't be out there doing things on a Saturday night. We've got to work on the business. Everyone has a role to play. I'll take care of the cash flow projections. You need to work on the proposal. And you need to work on the contracts. All three of us need to have our assignment and are moving toward completing that assignment within a set milestone. Does that make sense? That's how it has to be done. And that's how success happens. The likelihood of success, the tarot is telling us that if you proceed, well, not the tarot, the Meduna tarot, it's telling us if you proceed according to my counsel, then there's a good likelihood of success, which is why we saw it say tu ma'at, which means positive. Because Meduna tarot, if you look closely, it has these dark circles which represent a negative connotation. And then it has some circles that aren't all shaded in, which indicates a positive connotation. So those circles are indicating the likelihood or the probability of success. The way is opening or the way is closing for you. Is the way opening for my success or is the way closing for my success? Within the context of the question. And in the context of the question we ask, since we got the tu ma'at, then the way is open to our success, our financial success in the coming month. Because we're talking about a short duration here, the oracle is predicting. This is not success months down the road. This is success coming up pretty soon. If you follow the advice of the oracle, that is key. If you don't follow the advice, then there could be a likelihood of failure. And in that case, you only have to blame yourself. You know what I mean? Because the oracle gave you the console and you didn't follow it and you failed. You went hanging out on a Friday, Saturday night when you should have been doing those cash flow projections. And with each card in the oracle system, there encompasses a ritual that you can do to ensure your success. So in this case, I know I would do a ritual for Haru. So I'm going to take some ginseng to get my chi up. I'm going to do my fire breathing to ensure that I'm not lackadaisical about it, that I'm focused, that I'm strong, and things of that nature. This is important. Like, for example, if I'm going to a business trip and I'm flying out to North Carolina next month, I want to do a reading on how I'm going to fare in North Carolina to prepare. Now, I took a trip recently to Virginia, and the reading was not favorable, but I went anyway, and I got food poisoning. Now, the oracle told me it's not favorable to go on this trip, but I went anyway. I rolled the dice and got sick and was hospitalized. And that was my fault. Whereas I could have avoided that if I had just scheduled my trip for later. So you see how the oracles work and how very important individuals like diviners are. Oh, sorry, I heard somebody knock on my door. So in antiquity, diviners were very, very important. In fact, Kemet didn't go to war without consulting the diviner, because that oracle could predict victory or failure. My king, the oracle says that we will fail, we will lose horribly. There will be a large death toll if we go to war. We must retreat. And then we retreat. See, one thing about the United States, it has yet to fight someone as powerful in terms of military might as itself. So when we ever get to the point of fighting somebody on our same level, there's going to be a lot of procrastination, a lot of fear, because you don't know if we're going to win. Right now, we're like the big bully on the block. We know we can beat everybody. But if we come up against someone who has just as much military might as ourselves, then we will need to do oracle readings to see if it's wise to go to war, because it could be disastrous. And this is why the priests and priestesses and diviners were so of utmost importance, that the king and queen held them in high esteem. Because there's no way that the king and queen would enact a law or go to war without consulting them. So I hope this is a good explanation as to the oracle system, how it works, why it's important for us to have this in our lives. And as always, if you get an opportunity, please donate to the channel. Your donation would be appreciative or appreciated. If you want to do a reading, please contact me via email, and I'd be happy to schedule a one-on-one oracle reading with you. So until my next broadcast, this is Qesankh Ma'a Keparu. Salamat and Tuhudi. Until my next broadcast, Amun Ra.